Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Legacy Journey. Kendall here, your host. Super excited to have all you Wealthy Legacy Journeyers here with me today. One reason I'm very excited about today is today we are saying, for the first time ever, drum roll please, happy birthday to Walter Marsden. And I'm super excited. My sister and brother-in-law, well, I shouldn't say they both had a baby. Just my sister had the baby. But they had Walter yesterday at 1:30 in the morning, and I'm super excited for them. And I'm super excited to see who Walter becomes. So he's the first person that I know that was born since I started the show. So it was really cool to be able to say happy birthday. I'm very excited for my sister. So I want to open up with that. I also wanted to open up by showing you guys, for anybody that's watching the video version of this, a really cool sticker that my wife got me for Christmas for my water bottle. It says Master Oogway. And this actually is a reference from Kung Fu Panda. But Oogway means turtle or tortoise. I think it means tortoise. And so actually, it's funny enough, my uncle name is also Uncle Oogway. But a lot of this stems from me, my mantra, personal mantra being, today I will be committed to being the most what is it? Now I'm forgetting also. Today I will be committed to being the most interdependent and something tortoise there's ever been. And I'm having a brain fart moment here. I haven't read it every single time I look at the mirror like I had been, and now it's slipping in my mind. But consistency and dedication inside of being a tortoise, taking one small step after another, is really kind of the focus of my life right now. And so the sticker is kind of in honor of that. So now I have my Robert Kiyosaki's middle class versus the rich cash flow statements here. I also have an Oogway sticker to remind me to be a tortoise in everything I'm doing. And so my life is really getting focused on this healthier direction rather than just sprinting like, the tortoise and the hare, instead of sprinting like the tortoise all the time and feeling like my hair is always on fire and life is just insane. Learning how to slow down and be the tortoise wherever possible. So it's really cool. I'm very excited to share with you guys one thing that I started up this week, and I'm kind of in the beginning of it, and so I'm still in the learning phase. But as you guys know, for me personally, what am I doing? I've completely forgot to introduce the title of today's episode. So today's episode is switching gears, mindset to strategy, and so a lot of this stuff, even on the water bottle, it's mindset stuff, right? It's remembering, this is mindset of, hey, trying to build up a bunch of liabilities to making life comfortable. That's what the middle class does. But the mindset of the wealthy is to focus on building their asset column to build up income, and then they let their income off of assets pay for the fun stuff, the life stuff, and the lifestyle things. And so that's a mindset thing, right? The Oogway, becoming more of like a tortoise instead of the hare, taking small steps, right? A part of my mission statement is I will take one strong step after another instead of unbalanced leaps in my path toward new heights, right? And so it's that mindset of, yes, I'm still moving forward, but I'm taking strong steps one after the other. I'm not jumping willy-nilly. And it was funny because yesterday, and I was going to talk about this a little bit down the line, but yesterday, me and my dad went hiking, and so we have like a quarterly hike. And while we were out there, we ended up having to cross this very cold river, and there was this path of rocks that some of it was above water, some of it was no more than like ankle deep. So we had to take off our shoes and roll up our pants, and because it is January and not as cold down here in Texas as it is in some places, and but that water was still cold, and we walked across the river. And it's funny because some of the rocks had moss on the top, some of the rocks weren't super stable, and so as we were crossing this river, at one point I tried to take almost a jump from one rock to the next, but when I hit that rock, it was a little bit unstable. I could tell it didn't have any moss on it by the way it looked. I think it might have actually been above water, but I remember specifically that it shook under my foot and I thought I was about to fall in. And after that, I realized, okay, I'm just going to take this one rock at a time, one step at a time. There's no point in rushing this thing, because if I'm rushing, I'm probably going to fall in. And so from that moment forward, I focused on just taking one solid step, one strong step after another. in my path to the other side of the river. Um, but anyways, so inside of my personal journey of switching gears, this is what I was about to tell you guys, is that I have come under the I think the right word would be tutelage, getting education from really getting taught by and have chosen a professor for me in the trading stocks and options field, at least for now. So as you guys know, I've read several Robert Kiyosaki books lately. Through Robert Kiyosaki, I got connected with a guy named Andy Tanner. Robert Kiyosaki actually had sent out an email, and so I look at some of the emails, and on this specific one, he was recommending Andy Tanner for anybody who is wanting to get into the stock market. That is Andy Tanner, ANDYTANNER. His options and trading course is the Cash Flow Academy. And so I actually joined the program. I'm very early in on the program. From what I've seen so far, he teaches the Warren Buffett way of value investing. He looks at the fundamentals of companies, explains what that process looks like, and then he goes into the technicals as well and says, how can we look for technicals that support the direction that we're seeing out of the fundamentals? Um, he is a longer term trader, and so everything about his strategy I really like. I don't really want to be glued to my computer screen all the time. I want to find a way and learn a way that it's like, okay, I can put my money here and it can grow. And I look at it every once in a while. Maybe I look at it once a week. Maybe I look at it twice a week, 3 times a week. But I'm not having to look at it every single minute of every single day, right? And so that was really important for me. And he's really the first guy that it's not like, oh, you have these huge win rates or any of this. Like he's raw, real, and honest. And as you guys know through this show, like I really admire and respect raw, real, and honest. That's why I try to be raw, real, and honest with you guys. And so he's done it, shown like here's where we've done well, here's where we've haven't done well on trades, but overall we have winner trades and we build cash flow. He talks about investing in companies that pay out dividends, and being able to cash flow off of companies instead of just having capital gains off of trades of buying low, selling high. He also talks about the mindset and how that helps you. For him, he gave this one specific example of buying, I think it was Dow Chemical, and he entered a long position at $35. Well, then the price ended up going all the way down to like $23 or something like that before it corrected and went back up. But he knew that the average price of that company was $50, and he knew that it was a strong company with strong fundamentals. He thought it had hit a floor and it was going to bounce back up. That's why he entered at 35, and it broke through the floor. So that was him looking at technicals. But either way, he believed two things. Number one, he believed that that was a valuable company that was worth more than $35 a share. Now, $20 a share was even better deal, but $35 a share was a great position. Number two, he wanted the dividend. So he knew that they pay out 70 cents per contract per quarter, right? So it's $2.80. He bought those contracts at so it's $2.80 a year. He bought the contract at 35 cents. So he was getting something like an 8% return on investment. But if they ever increase the dividends, his ROI goes up. But then also at the same time, as the price corrects, once it hits $50 or goes above 50, he could, if he bought at 35, if the price goes up to, for easy math, let's just say $70 a contract, he could exit and double his money. But if the price goes down to 20, he's still getting an 8% ROI off of those dividends. So just the different things that he talked about, I was like, that's what I want to learn. So that way I don't have to constantly be stressed about the price. And so I'm very excited to get into his training. I will let you guys know how that training continues to go. I also had another really cool, I'm going to be able to go do some tax sale stuff in February. I've got a JV partner lined up to be able to do some stuff, tax sales. So it'll be partnering with somebody. I'm doing the work, they're supplying the money, and I'm just going to try dabbling in it a little bit in February. And then hopefully I'll be putting my own money. So I'm going to get 100% of the return on my time in those tax sales come about April. And so we're still moving well, ahead. But one thing that I want to say right quick, as we're moving into the first of the year, if you guys are watching this real time, is don't forget that it's about to be paycheck time. And maybe some of you get paid every week. Maybe some of y'all get paid every other week. For me, I get technically I get paid every week. But I prefer to be able to have all my money. So we have one savings account that like builds up. And then at the end of the month, we send everything from this account over to this account. And that allows us to get paid all at one time, so that way Libby's not having to stress about being paycheck to paycheck week after week. Which I'll tell you guys, if anybody's paycheck to paycheck, like being in that place is amazing. Like being paycheck to paycheck is so difficult, but just slowly getting to that point where it's like, okay, now we have like a whole month or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and get to a month at a time that you're shifting over. It's freeing. Another thing that I want to tell you guys is be sure that you pay yourself first, right? This is something that both Robert Kiyosaki talks about, as well as Dave Ramsey. Really making sure that you get the debt paid down first, making sure you put your emergency savings first. That's Dave Ramsey's school of thought. Robert Kiyosaki is make sure that you pay yourself first, and then you figure out how to get everything else paid for. Now that doesn't mean don't pay your bills, but for us, we pre-budgeted for the month. Here's what our month looks like. Now, if you don't adhere to, if first off you don't budget, you're never going to know where your money's going. But if you create a budget and you don't force different things to go different places, especially like savings and stuff to go first, that money's going to disappear. So for us, we get our paycheck in the account. The first thing that we do is slide that money that's for the emergency fund. It used to be debt. Now it's for the emergency fund. As we're building our emergency fund, immediately slide that money to the emergency fund, and it goes there and it never leaves. That is not something to pull out of willy-nilly. That is like Kendall's out of a job. Libby doesn't have a job. We have no income. That's what we use that money for. That is like the car broke down and we have to go buy a clunker to get us by. We use some of that cash to go buy a clunker to get us by because a car is out and we have to have a car. That'd be like if both of our cars went out. Right? If we had one car, we'd figure out how to keep going. That emergency fund is literally break the glass, emergencies only. So we slide that money over. It doesn't get touched. We do it at the very beginning of the month. So that money cannot be used no matter what. So anyways, so I've got money sliding over for being able to go to the emergency fund. Eventually that'll become investments. I'm very excited once we get to the point of investing over the next few months. I'm going to be really applying on paper the trading stuff. I'm going to continue going to tax sales. They're not really a good tax sale this month, but next month, like I said, I got a JV partner that I'm going to be doing some stuff with. So you guys are going to actually start to see me watch. You guys are going to get to see me have some momentum and some of these things that we've been talking about in the last few months. Is really exciting. Some trading stuff, some tax sale stuff, which is really cool. We are still working on the bot in the background, and our hope is to go live with that in March, but we will see exactly what ends up happening on that front as we continue testing, and I will keep you guys updated with that as well. A really cool documentary that I would recommend you guys watch because I found it to be very insightful is called The Great Heist. And it was put together by this guy. He called himself the Urban Monk. I'm not sure why. I don't know anything else about him. But I know the reason I got a hold of it, I heard of it, was in Andy Tanner in the course. He had mentioned that he did a section on 401ks and how 401ks are really taking money out of the American people's pockets, as well as anybody else. There's lots. They have different names around the globe, but there's so many different countries that have these 401ks or 401k type models. And he explained how those are very detrimental and why. And so he explained a little bit of that in the Cash Flow Academy, but he said, hey, go check out this documentary put together by the Urban Monk. He had a specific section on 401k, and it was very interesting. So in the resources sheet, I am actually going to post a link to a free YouTube video of that I was able to find. Again, that is The Great Heist by the Urban Monk. It's like, I think it was like an hour long. It was very informational. It was very good. But it was interesting. So one of the things that Andy Tanner said that I just like grabbed onto, I was like, this is good. And I wanted to throw it into this video for you guys just to be thinking about as you guys are, whether you're in the mindset phase or you're, switching to strategy phase. For us right now, we're on that 0 to 6 figure path. And so we've built up some mindset stuff. So that way, next time we get to 6 figures or I get 6 figures, I'm not going to be broken under the weight of that money because my mindset is in the right place this time. Before, my mindset was in the wrong place. And so I'm starting to shift gears into really strategy mode. In February, we're going to be doing a little bit of application. February, March, April, we're going to be switching gears in that full-on application. So I'm very excited for you guys to be able to see what that transition looks like. The one thing that Andy Tanner said, He said that people that are interested in success buy books. People who are committed to success have mentors and coaches. So, and I will agree with that 100%. So I've been getting into all these books because it was like, okay, I want to figure out how to be successful. I've gotten a plethora of wealth from just information, a wealth of information, a plethora of just wisdom from these different authors that we've been reading through. Let's see, you have Napoleon Hill, Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki. I read one short little book by Andy Elliott, and that was really good on the sales stuff. And but going through those resources, I was really able to get a lot of good mindset stuff, some of the tangible application stuff, right? But now for me, I've gone ahead and gone forward. It cost me money to pay for the Cash Flow Academy to start learning that. But I paid to get into that program because that was specifically something that I wanted to learn. And I finally found, I knew what I wanted to learn. And I finally found the guy that was speaking my language, that was going to teach me what I wanted to learn. And so I joined up with that program so I could get closer to Andy Tanner, so I could learn what Andy Tanner was preaching and understand what it is that he's doing. What is he doing that's successful? Have, him and his team walk me through some stuff. I'm in the teaching course right now. I probably will move into the coaching program as well, as long as I see that there's a ton of value in the teaching program. So that way I can have somebody holding me accountable. I can go to ask questions to. And so that's what I'm really excited about joining into the Andy Tanner program. It did cost me money, but I know that I'm going to be able to make 10, 20, 50, 100-fold plus on my investment into that program. I don't want to say how much I paid for that program. It was, I can tell you this, it's north of 1,000, well north of 1,000. I'll tell you guys that. But I don't want to tell you what the exact amount was because, number one, all coaching courses programs are different, right? My first real estate program cost me like $350. But I've paid, a lot more. I paid, in the 5 figures for my 2 Comma Club with Russell Brunson program, which taught me so much. This I'm in the 4-figure cost range, but the costs may change over time. So I don't want to say something and then be like, it doesn't cost that anymore, or whatever. I don't know what kind of deal I got or anything like that. I know I did get a little bit of a deal, so I don't know what it is for everybody else at all times, but I wanted to tell you guys about that. If anybody, I should say this, if anybody ever watches this and you're like, man, I want to get a hold of the Andy Tanner stuff, since I'm in the program, if you just want to message me on the YouTube or something like that and, drop a comment in there, I'll actually see if maybe I could reach out to Andy Tanner to see if I could get like some kind of discount link or something like that for this channel. For anybody that's specifically interested in looking into learning how to trade long-term options and longer-term trading and dividends and value investing and stuff like that, because I'd love to get you guys connected with Andy Tanner. So just let me know if that's something that interests you guys, and I will see if that's something I can make happen. I want to tell you guys, though, like as I've been going through the last few months, something that's changed for me personally is my mindset. And it's changed from this, like when somebody says something to me, whether I say it or I say it in my mind or I actually say it out loud, this like, I know, like, hey, you really need to save money. And I'd be like, I know. Everybody says that. Or, hey, you need to, you have this huge chunk of capital. You should pay off all your debts. I know. Everybody says that, but not actually applying it. And I would say that I know, like every time I'd hit a challenge, and like I'd have no clue. And so I changed that to being able to be more humble and realize when I hit this wall saying like, I don't have any idea how to do this. But I'm going to find someone who's done it, and I'm going to find somebody that I can trust who's done it. And I'm going to ask them for guidance. Right. And once they show me the way, I'll follow it all the way. So just this is exactly what I'm doing with Andy Tanner. Instead of going like, oh, I know, or I can figure it out or whatever, I'm going, hey, I want to learn how to trade options. I want to learn how to do value investing. I've been very interested in learning how to look at the fundamentals of a company and how to break that down. I've been very interested in how you cash flow off of companies with dividends. I don't know any of this stuff. And I found this guy who can teach me all these things that I want to learn and take me to that next step. And so instead of just sitting here and going, oh, well, that costs too much, or, oh, I'm going to try to figure it out myself, I'm going to go, nope, here's somebody that knows how to do it. They've done it. I can trust them because they show me what works. And more importantly, I really appreciate that they're raw, real, and honest and show me the places where it hasn't worked or where they failed. All that stuff combined, yep, this is a dude I'm going to work with. So I'm going to let him teach me, and I'm probably going to even advance into the coaching program. And one day I may even advance into an advanced coaching program, because the more I pay, the more I get to learn. I don't look at it as money taken out of my pocket. I look at it as, wow, what could my ROI, what could my return on investment be for investing capital into this, my brain, my knowledge, what I know. So I want to build and create more understanding. That's job security, right? When the market's going crazy, the most secure thing you can have is your skill set, your mindset, what you're able to do, right? Robert Kiyosaki talks about this a lot. Like, the best entrepreneurs out there, what makes them so successful is they can create something from nothing, right? So I don't want it to be dependent on anybody else to be able to create and build my wealth, companies, ideas, anything like that. I want to learn, how can I take an idea, the air of an idea, something I could speak, but you can't even hold on to it. And how can I, within a few years, build that up to be a full blown company, right? Or how can I take this idea and apply it and build money? And maybe it's raising money. Maybe it's, I've invested over here so I can put my money into building a business, right? But then even you look at the 4 categories, you have employee, self-employed, business, investor. How can I stay on the right side? How can I stay on that business and investor side, not the self-employed side? So there's lots of great stuff that I've been learning. And that the cash flow quadrant, that's another Robert Kiyosaki thing. And so I would go check out that book, right? He's got lots of great information, lots of great mindset stuff. So I highly recommend you guys go check that out, all of his stuff. But even in real estate, there's 95% of the stuff out there in real estate I still don't know. I don't know much of anything. I've done one commercial deal, but I really don't know anything about commercial. I don't know anything about apartments. I don't know anything about duplexes or triplexes. I don't really know much about rentals. I don't know really anything about Airbnb. I don't know anything about the Airbnb arbitrage that they talk about. I don't know how to own or finance stuff. I don't know. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff that I don't know about, and I'm going to start seeking out coaches to be able to learn more. Now, I do know of a few simple ways to flip my money for capital gains, which is a great start to be able to build up capital, but I don't know a ton besides that. So I'm very confident in everything I know about tax sales. I learned one small piece, like I said, from Nathan Mills, and really excited to be able to go apply that into the tax sales. Really, it was just more of, how do you get signed up for a tax sale and what does it look like to do the bidding process. But I know how to value a property. I know how to sell a property, know how to do all these other steps because of what I've done in real estate over the past few years. And but I'm starting out the past 2 years, I've learned how to read charts and look at the technicals and stuff for trading, but I'm starting very close to the bottom on the option stuff. And so the reason that I feel confident in being able to pursue the real estate and the options at the same time is because the real estate isn't really going to take much bandwidth or brain space, because I already know how to do it. So it's just going to be more of the doing it that takes time. On the options side, I feel like I'm going back to school right now, right? I'm reading the books, all the wealth books that we've been going through and we've done some of the stuff on. And so I feel like I'm going to school for wealth right now, because I'm reading those books. And then now in the evening, after the kids go to bed, I'll spend an hour or two going through some of the options training and stuff like that, and just increasing my education. But this is what I love, and this is what I know is going to be able to get me freedom. I'd much rather be doing this, paying for this course, which I can tell you is way less than paying for a semester at college. But I'm also learning from somebody who's doing this real time. And so I'd much rather pay for this than I would pay for, going to college or something like that. But, guys, the reason that I kept sabotaging my growth was that because I don't feel like I was getting the full picture of building a business. And I wasn't going out there and getting the education that I needed. I just was sprinting so fast from one thing to the next that I would end up tripping on myself and falling face first, just bam, right there on the ground. JVing is a fantastic way to flip some cash at first. I'm very excited about my opportunity to JV on some tax sales starting in February. At some point, you're going to be able to graduate from that. You're going to be able to go forward. JVing is also a great way to learn how to do some stuff that you've never done before, because the person who's putting up the money on the other end of that, especially if you're JVing with somebody who knows what they're doing, they're going to be able to help kind of point you in the right direction. Now, most of the time, these guys or gals, they're not going to want to answer every question under the sun. So if they have to hold your hand, they're probably not going to do it again. They may even take that one project away from you, but they're going to be more than happy to give you some little tidbits of, golden nuggets of information here and there along the way to help you be successful, because when you're successful in the JV, they're successful in the JV. So one day I'm hoping that I'm getting a JV with some of you guys on the Wealthy Legacy journeys. I built my capital, and I see people who are go-getters and they're doers, and they reach out to me, and they want to do some business and life with me. I'm excited for the opportunity at that point in my life to be able to say, hey, let's JV on some stuff. Let's get you ahead. I don't as of this moment, I don't really believe in the debt. I'm kind of wrestling right now with, the Robert Kiyosaki versus, there being good debt and bad debt versus Dave Ramsey of everything's bad debt. Trying to figure out where I stand on that right now personally. I'm trying to read books on both sides so I can get, really a full picture of, okay, I see what they're saying and I see what they're saying, so I can make my own educated opinion. So still to be determined on if it changes, but at this point, I'm a debt-free guy, but I love joint ventures. So I'm really excited. But one thing that I want to tell you guys whenever it comes to capital, as we are getting pretty close to wrapping up today's episode, is I am very excited. I don't know how fast I'm going to do this project, but I thought of a project at Christmas, whenever I had gotten some Christmas money. And I thought, how cool would it be to do a double dare ya, double your money challenge? The old double dog, like I double dog dare you, whatever. And I thought, how cool would it be to have a double dare to double your money? And so I'm double daring myself to double my money. I'm double daring you right now. I double dare you, you wealthy legacy journeyer, to go out there and double some money. But what I want to say is it doesn't have to be a huge amount. So this is Kendall's investment fund. And it might sound all big and fancy, but inside this investment fund, I have 100. Well, this is all the money. So I have 100 and 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. I have $139. And I honestly thought about starting this at $20. Because I was like, oh, what would be a number that people would be like, oh, it wouldn't be painful to lose that much money? And I think pretty much anybody could say, like, yeah, I would spend like 10 to 20 bucks on eating out, and it wouldn't be painful to lose that money. Wouldn't be fun, but it wouldn't be like end of the world. But then I thought, the wealthy legacy journey, especially right now, at least at this point, is really a lot about my journey. And my journey is I'm comfortable with investing the full 139. And so I actually printed out the ledger that I put together for the cash flow, Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow board game. And but I'm using that, and you can see this is December. I just realized I put December 2024. That's so funny. I should have put December 20. I was thinking about the next year, December 2023. So now you guys can see this real time. This edit that I made here. Everything that I do, so that's December 2023. My initial deposit is $139, so my total is $139. And I am going to take you guys on a journey of what it looks like to double your money, starting from a very small amount of capital. A large part of this was inspired by Libby and her plate venture, where she found like $23 worth of plates and stuff, and she's able to turn that around. It's going to be about a $400 return, or $400 is what she's going to make in the end. It's going to be, what is that? She's going to like basically almost 20x her money, 15x her money, which is very exciting. But we've done that before. And so I want to show you, we're going to start off there, starting small, Salvation Army, Goodwill. There's a local place by us called Harvest House. We're going to go try to find good deals together. And I'm going to log everything, my outgoing expenses, my income. And so I'm going to start by buying little stuff that I know has value to it. And we're going to flip our way up. And eventually, this is not going to be in an envelope. It's going to be in a bank account. And it might buy tax sales. And this money right here might buy stocks. And this money eventually one day might buy a land development. It might buy a house to flip. It's going to start off as a $139 seed, and I'm about to plant it with you guys. And I'm going to show you what it looks like from the beginning. $139 seed planted into investments that's going to grow. We're going to see a little bit, of growth. I'm going to protect it. It's going to grow up into a tree, and then it's going to end up producing fruit. And when it's producing fruit is when it's cash flowing. Imagine one day when this envelope right here is cash flowing $139 a month, if not more. So where it's like every single month, it's just popping out one of these envelopes, and I literally have to do no work for it. So that's very exciting. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on how that goes. That is going to be the Double Daria Challenge. Yeah, we're going to basically learn how to flip our money together with an amount that isn't too scary to lose. And we're going to start little and figure out, okay, at what point can I graduate to the next level? And what is the next level? And we're going to figure out what that next level looks like together. So we're going to do this, this money right here specifically is going to be no debt. So who knows whether one day I do take on some debt or not. At this point, I don't think I will. But this money right here is going to be absolutely the Dave Ramsey way, debt-free money. And I want to show you guys without leverage how you can turn a little into a lot. And so I'm excited about that. For anybody who's in their job right now and you're listening to this, I want you guys to know that I work the day after Christmas. Some of you guys may have worked the day of Christmas. I was blessed to not have to work the day of Christmas, but I did immediately the day after Christmas. I went and I had to drive out to Mineral Wells. The day after that, I drove up to almost Oklahoma, and I live south of DFW, so that was a long drive. Had a lot of drive time to get some deals this week. I don't enjoy being an employee either, right? So, but I would say is before, when I would make money doing things that I didn't really enjoy, my mindset was, well, I worked very hard all week to earn this money. I have the right, because of, whatever I've gained in education, whatever I did, for work that I didn't enjoy, I have the right to go out there and spend this money however I see fit. And that mindset right there keeps you trapped in the prison of the job. And some people love their job, but still, even if you love your job, you shouldn't be trapped by your job. You should have the freedom to leave if you needed and or wanted to. So I want to challenge you guys to take that emotion. That's what I'm working on right now, is take that emotion of whatever your feelings are towards your job and say, I'm going to let that emotion drive me towards having freedom, having the freedom to choose whether I want to work or not. Maybe you do want to keep working. That's awesome. Could you imagine if you got to choose to keep working? If you wanted to, you didn't have to keep working. So let that feeling drive you, not to have the right to do whatever you want, but to have the right to want to grow forward, so you have the right to make a decision one day of whether you really want to work or not. I'm kind of running short of time here, guys. I did a lot of driving this week, as I said, and while I was driving, I listened to a ton of Tony Evans' podcasts, his sermons. It was so good. It was so filling. There was 3 awesome ones that I would highly recommend you guys go listen to. One was Encouragement That Calms Fears by Tony Evans. One was Trusting God in the Darkness by Tony Evans. One is Your Vision and Your Calling by Tony Evans. And a really good quote out of that specific message, he said that life is like a coin. You can spend it any way you want, but you can only spend it once. Make sure you invest it. Don't just spend it. Invest in something that matters. So guys, in whatever you're doing, remember that life is like a coin. You only get one time to spend it. So invest it well. Invest in something that counts. Invest in something that multiplies it, right? And then at that point, if I could take this $139, and this is money that basically, after we bought the kids some book, I paid my tithe. This is what I had left. I'm taking this. It's going to be the seed that I plant. If I turn this $139 into, let's just say it was 140 for easy math, 280, I basically got 139 for free, and I still have my original 139. If it wasn't be 280, it'd be like 278. Then I've doubled my money. I still have my original money, and I have free money because I turn my money into more money. And so, guys, think about creating fruit, creating more with what you had. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys is I kind of had, I think it's going to be an important breakthrough for the Wealthy Legacy journey. Yesterday, whenever I was on my hike with my dad, which is really cool. Growing up, my dad was busy. He was working all the time. He was the guy, as far as the job that I didn't want to have to become. I don't want to be tied to my job, having to work all the time, having to go to school all the time, having to study all the time, whatever it is, where he was so tied up and consumed with that, they didn't have time to be able to spend with the family. I want to be able to spend more days a week with my family than I have to working. My dream is that I could spend 4 days a week with my family and then I could work 3 days a week. That would be amazing. But I could be very impactful on the days that I'm working, but I get lots of time to be able to spend and pour into my family. I think that would be just a wonderful blessing. And that's the journey that I'm going towards right now. But nowadays, my dad's been able to make some changes, and he is getting to hang out, and we're pretty well at the same level financially. I don't want anybody to think that like I'm getting some sort of like life handout from my parents. My I'm actually out of debt. My parents still have debt. And yesterday we were talking about what their path could look like for being able to get out of debt. And I wasn't giving them my own advice. I was saying, hey, based on what I've read from Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki, all these different guys that we've been reading through, Jim Collins, and just looking at life from that good to great perspective. Here's what I think you should do based on what they've said. Here's what they say, anyways, is what I'm saying. I'm basically saying I'm going to speak the words that I've read out of their books and let that go out of my mouth, but it's actually from their books. And here's what I would do. And that's what I try to do for you guys as well. And so we had a really great time, and I got to hold him accountable on some stuff, and he got to hold me accountable on some stuff. And it was just a great time to clear my head. But one thing I realized is before I had said there's active income, investment income, and passive income. And I realized, I don't love that. And I've been thinking about that for a little bit. Like, I don't love that because even passive, it's a passive investment. And so as we were talking about it, kind of had this revelation of really what it is you have active income and passive income. That's it. But there's a special word that you can tie on to active income and passive income to make it really special and make it really powerful. And that word is investment. So active income is your job, your job. And this is where you're trading time for money. Now, purely passive income is trading nothing for money. This is like, Social Security check, which I know that you put money in, but now you're just getting money out. You're not having to do anything. Your pension from a company, you're just getting money paid out to you for not doing anything. Your stimulus check, you're just getting money from the government for doing nothing, right? Purely passive income, I would argue, is getting nothing from money. But if we tie that special word of investment on there, we get something truly special. Active investment income is trading your time and money for money, right? Which is like flipping land on the tax sales, trading stocks, where it's we buy low, we sell high, buying dishes at, what we're going to do with this, buying dishes at, Salvation Army, and being able to turn a $23 investment into a $400 profit. That's trading your time and money for money because you had to go shop for it. You spent your money, but you're going to turn all that money into more money. So that is active investment. And then you also have a passive investment income. And that's things like owner finance notes that once they're structured, it's just mailbox money every single month. Rentals, especially if you have a property manager, that's mailbox money every month. Getting paid dividends for a company. You own a stock of that company, and for the stock that you own, you get paid out every single quarter or however they pay out their dividends. That is, your money is put in there and they're paying you a return for it, but you're not having to do anything in return. So again, to break down those four, you have active income, active investment income, passive investment income, and passive income, right? So you have trading. Your active income is your job, trading your time for money. Active investment income is trading your time and money for money. This is like flipping land, trading stocks. Your passive investment income is owner finance notes, dividends. That's trading your money for money. And passive income is doing nothing for money. Social Security, pension, stimulus checks. I wouldn't count on that one though. Truly passive income like that, that's you didn't do anything for it. You're getting free money. Free money doesn't last forever because somebody's having to pay the bill, and at some point they can't. And so even if that's the U.S. government, and in case you haven't looked lately, you should go to the, I think it's, I don't want to say this wrong. It's, let me get this for you guys here. This is actually really crazy. You guys should watch this. usdebtclock.org. usdebtclock.org. That is usdebtclock.org. I'm actually going to put this on here so I'll go ahead and put this clock.org. I'm going to put that on our resources page so you guys can get to it from there. And I'm also going to put the ledger. I'm going to make sure that this ledger is on the sheet for you guys. If you guys want to do the Double Dare You challenge with me, I'd highly recommend that you print out the ledger. and just kind of keep track of everything in and out on there with me. I'm very excited to be able to do that together. And but anyways, with that said, I wouldn't count on the passive income. I wouldn't, they got rid of pensions, and then when they went to 401ks, they say Social Security is not dependable. There's not enough money there to be able to pay everything out, right? Stimulus checks. Don't count on stimulus checks coming forever. It's not even how a capitalist society is supposed to be built, right? But also, you're not going to be able to work forever. So don't count on the job forever. You're not going to want to work until the day you die. So here's the deal. Don't just trade your time for money, but figure out how to take some of the money that you receive from your time and set it aside so you can learn how to trade your time and money for more money. And eventually, you're able to get to the point where you have passive investment income where you're trading your money for money. With all that said, guys, we're going to go through the identity mantra right quick as we're wrapping up our episode. So say it with me, after me. I explore the unknown. I conquer new frontiers. My journey is powerful, and my wake is a wealthy legacy. And guys, remember, wealthy is the ability to cover your monthly expenses without having to lift a finger. That is that passive investment income. And legacy is leaving a long-standing impact on others who come after you as they receive the fruit of your labor, whether that fruit be good or bad. So I explore the unknown. I conquer new frontiers. My journey is powerful. My wake is a wealthy legacy. I want you guys to speak that over yourselves. I want you guys to live that out. Don't forget to check out the Google Docs in the description below this video, whether you're on Spotify or YouTube, to get the links for everything that we've talked about in this video. The Great Heist by the Urban Monk. We're going to have the US debt clock on there now as well. I'm going to have the ledger sheet on there that I use for the cash flow board game, but you guys can use that for the Double Dare Ya challenge. And maybe someday we'll get a website put together for the Double Dare Ya challenge so you guys can track and see how that is growing. And maybe I thought it'd be really cool to put like pictures of the listings as we made money of like what that looked like to build all the way up and all that kind of stuff. But neither here nor there. We'll see how that goes. So anyways, it has been awesome hanging out with you guys today. Thank you so much for stopping by, joining me on another episode of the Wealthy Legacy Journey. You guys have a fantastic week, a fantastic New Year's. Don't forget to set aside some of that money you get out of your paycheck for your investment fund to pay off some debt, whatever you got to do. Get in the right mindset. Find a teacher, find a coach for what you're trying to do and what you're striving for in life, and make sure that you're able to build up that mindset. And then when the time comes, switch gears from mindset into strategy mode. It was great hanging out with you guys today, and I will see you guys on another episode next week. Bye, y'all.